unsupervised child on the street. There are a number of different risks associated with children being alone or unsupervised on the street, on the road. And the first of these risks is associated with the road safety. There is no argument about this, that children under the age of 16 are one of the most vulnerable road users, in particular child pedestrians, which accounts for the majority of child casualties across all road user types. In contrast to older pedestrians, child pedestrians are not experienced and educated about using the road safely. They therefore are particularly vulnerable to injuries and accidents. Let me present to you some statistics from the Department of Transport. These are obviously figures from United Kingdom. On average, every week in UK, one child dies and 37 children get seriously injured. In 2013, 1,980 children were either killed or seriously injured on the road. The number of children killed or seriously injured increases with age. Most casualties happening around the age of 11 or 12 years. This is why, because children think we are independent and the parents become a little bit lazy. Yes, they can do things on their own, but they cannot. You've not taught them properly. They try to take the independence when they shouldn't, and they end up having accidents. More children are killed or seriously injured on their way home from school than on their way to school. 78% of child pedestrians, they are involved in accidents because they failed to look properly. And 38% of child pedestrians involved in accidents were careless, reckless, or in a hurry. Unfortunately, it is seen that many parents give very little consideration to teaching road safety to their children. We should act on this slogan, alert today, alive tomorrow. No one can bear to see their child suffering by being run down under a car. Please never allow your children cross the roads unsupervised. Prepare and prevent rather than repair and repent. Follow these steps with your child every time you cross the road. Number one, first of all, hold the hand of your child. Find the safest place to cross with a clear view of all around, away from parked cars or junctions or bends or on the brow of a hill if possible. Talk to your child about safest place to cross and how it is harder to see where there are parked cars or junctions or bends or the brow of a hill. Explain that drivers and riders won't be able to see you either. Number two, holding hands with your child, show them how to stop on the curb. Look all around and listen for traffic. First, explain to the child that they must stop at the curb and not step onto the road, as traffic might be coming very fast. Then they must look all around because traffic could come from any direction, and they should listen because sometimes you can hear the traffic before you see it. Then look towards right first, then left, and then right again. When it is safe, walk straight across, not diagonally this way or that way, and keep looking and keep listening. Tell your child they must do this in case there is any traffic they did not see or in case traffic appears suddenly. The main reason for parents to send their child out on the street is for them to play. Generally, houses in Western countries, they are small with little space for children to play. When we send our children out on the street, unsupervised, we have no idea who they are playing with and how good these other children are. I don't think it is difficult to conclude that street kids will ever be a good company to our children. This bad company is the biggest influence on the character of a child. Usually the children who play on the streets, most of them lack manners. They are disrespectful and they show no regard whatsoever to others. They will be swearing and having fights with each other. They will damage the property of others by playing ball games where they should not. The content of their conversation is generally rude and inappropriate. There will always be kids on the street who are few years older than your own child. These older children, they will be talking indecently and your child will be attracted to them. Your child will be most definitely exposed to age inappropriate content and you have no idea about it. Your child will most definitely pick up bad manners and he will start to disobey you when you say something different to what his street mates have taught him. These street friendships, they only get stronger and stronger. Your child will soon get drawn into the culture of street life. The roots of risky lifestyles begin to set in without anyone realizing. Couple of years down the line, you will see a cigarette in the hands of your child. One of his so-called friend will then introduce him to drugs. Initially, it will be a free fag or a free spliff. This opens up the gates into the life of drugs. So-called soft drugs will lead to harder drugs. Let me tell you one thing, that there is no such thing as soft drugs or hard drugs. All drugs are addictive and even the cannabis will destroy your life. As a doctor in field of psychiatry, I have seen many young people who have become victim of cannabis. I'm mentioning cannabis because in the Western countries, this is at the moment for personal use, it is allowed and people think that there is nothing wrong with using cannabis. And I have personally seen in my medical career, young people experiencing heart attacks and severe mental health problems, which ruins not just their life, but the life of all family members, because it all is the result of smoking cannabis. Their future is shattered into pieces. The parents are unaware what my child is up to, because they have no time to supervise their child. They don't bother to ask them, where have you been? And what have you done? Most of them are afraid that their child will shout back or even try to hit them. Whose fault is this? If parents had kept an eye on their children when he was going out and stopped him at that stage, you would not have seen this day today. Sadly, we were too busy earning money for a bright future. This is why, my dear brothers, Islam places responsibility on parents for the upbringing of their children. This is why Islam completely prohibits drugs, because they will lead to havoc in the lives of many people. Only if parents were to learn the beautiful teachings of Islam, demonstrate it in front of their children, then our homes and our communities will become a garden of paradise, inshallah.